Back live tonight here on In Focus. Some municipalities could face criminal charges if they don't do more to address poor water quality amid a cholera outbreak, which has claimed over 30 lives. This after the blue, green and no drop watch reports revealed that the quality of water in the country is on the decline. Moqhaka Mayor Motloheloa Mokatsane as well as Ngwathe local municipality Mayor Victoria de Beer-Mthombeni are joining us tonight for that conversation. Mayors, good evening. Good to have you, and thank you very much for coming on In Focus this evening. Mayor Mokatsane, let's begin with you. Front pages of the newspapers revealing your face and your name as one of those municipalities being criminally investigated for failing to submit plans to fix the water problems. First and foremost, were you notified of the non-compliance of your water infrastructure as one of those being deemed either critically a crucial situation or at least in a poor condition?
No, thank you, Mr. Mjuli, and your viewers. I think it will be proper of me to say all of the issues that has been raised in Soweto are matters that must be given necessary attention, and in an event whereby such notification has been forwarded to us, serious measures must be taken in addressing those issues. And I'm of the view that the plan to address all of the issues that has been raised in that report has been forwarded to the necessary destination.
Yeah. Let's look at the line reporting, Mr. Mayor. I mean, you've got yourself as the mayor, as the political head. You've got the accounting officer who's, of course, responsible in terms of what needs to happen operationally in a municipality. They have delegate their authority maybe to a head of the technical division, and that would go on to whoever will actually implement the plans on the ground. Currently, where is the fault? Why is the infrastructure not being attended to? And why is the notice of compliance not being responded to? And why are plans not being submitted to fix the situation?
No, thanks again. As I indicated earlier, in an event whereby this notification has been forwarded to us, necessary steps has been taken. The thing that might have happened is that the report or the response might have been submitted not timelessly to the necessary office, but all of the elements that has been raised as areas of concern are being given attention to. And I can attest now that some of the things, including the report that we have, which is the report that came out on the 1st of July, of testing the quality of our water, is quite positive, and it tells us that the quality of our water is in a good condition. But also, there are some of the things that, besides the issue of us relying on the report, we are dealing with areas like the wastewater treatment plant, which is one of the things that the AG has raised as a major concern, whereby the plant was not functioning maximally. We are on the phase 2 of addressing that problem, and then the project is going on as we speak to address that area. But we also have 2 areas in our municipality whereby the old infrastructure was one of the great causes of non-supply of quality water, and all of those are being given the necessary attention. But Mr. Mjula, I have to indicate, one of the things that is creating a lot of a problem is the issue of load shedding, whereby when we have to supply water, there will be interruptions of the purification of water, as all of this need electricity, which it has to be consistent so that we can deal with purifying our water maximally. Yeah. So we have dealt with some of these things. That is why we have a constant and uninterrupted supply of water to our municipalities, because there is an arrangement that we got into with ESCOM, whereby we requested ESCOM to allow us to locate ourselves, and then we requested that some of the areas which were areas of importance must not experience load shedding. As we are load shedding ourselves, those areas which we requested to be exonerated from load shedding are not experiencing any load shedding, and that is the value chain of water. One of the things that I have to indicate is that we don't get our water from anywhere else. We extract our own water from our reserves, and we purify our own water on our own. And then the quality of our water, we are subjecting it to testing each and every week. But we also have some other testing agencies which are not part of our institution. Those are independent testing agencies which themselves also gave green light to the quality of our water.
But, Mr. Mayor, I find this rather very difficult to believe. You are saying to us all of a sudden that the water has been cleaned up and everything is fine. This is not what the report is showing. The report, in fact, is showing that 64 of the municipalities in the Free State, including yours, the wastewater treatment system is in a critical condition. It was tested and was done. It's in a critical condition, right? A number of corrective action plans received by the Department of Water and Sanitation, 10%. So which means that a large number of them are in a critical condition and there is no corrective action that was submitted. And you're saying to us, no, it's just late submission. It cannot be. The last report was released in 2021, which showed the issues of non-compliance. It's now 2023. When was the late submission?
Okay, let me say this on issue of the kind of the intervention that we have embarked on the correction of what you are raising, Mr. Mtu. I'm saying there has been a project, particularly in the wastewater treatment plant, which was correcting this matter. And it did not, that first phase of this project, it did not completely dealt with the problem that we faced. As I'm speaking to you now, I'm saying there is a project which amounts to more than 90 million. It is in the region of 92 million. That project is the one which is correcting to finality the issue that is being raised. We are doing all that is possible for, and that is not the only area where we are concentrating on correction.
And when did this begin to take place, and what was the difficulty in submitting the plans on time?
The issue of submitting the plans on time is a matter that we, as the institution, have to look into, because it's a serious technical matter. But we'll have to look into that matter. But the project for that correction has started in March. The second phase of it has started in March. And as I'm speaking to you, there is evidence that even if you can get there tomorrow, you'll find that project is unfolding and we are correcting that problem.
Mayor Mthombeni, the Ngwathe municipality, Parys, is the water supply system assessed. The water treatment works assessed is also Parys. Microbiological compliance, nil, which means you didn't submit anything. Chemical compliance, nil. You didn't submit anything. Why?
Good evening, and thank you very much for having me on this platform. During the time when the audit was taken, I must agree there were a few challenges that were happening at the water treatment plant, where few points were raised. One of the issues were the few is what you have just raised with us now, and when having the discussion with the relevant authorities, the ones that are responsible, one of the issues that we have identified was that at that time, when there was the process of for instance, on the issue of the chlorine gas, They were not using the chlorine gas, but they were using a system which is called the HTH chips, which made us fail the audit because what was requested from us was to use chlorine gas. But ever since after the audit, we have rectified that as an institution. And issues that they have raised with us out of the whole compliance matters was the optimacy of the plant. In all honesty, what I must agree with is that when we came in as this new administration, we have found that the water treatment plant of this municipality is not working to its optimacy in terms of 100%, because the reasons is that there's a lot of refurbishment that was supposed to have happened at the water treatment plant since 2019, and those were failed projects. And the issue of why I'm raising this is to say that there was an issue of the dosing. Our dosing pumps have had a problem during the audit. Our filters, sand filters, when you look at the report, it speaks about the sand filters. Our sand filters were not working properly. So some of those could have led to why we were receiving 0. But ever since that time, there has been progress made on the water treatment plant. And currently now as well, there is a refurbishment project that is happening, which cost the municipality about 66 million to fix most of the issues that was raised in the audit. And what is also happening is that our plant, because what they have raised also with us is to say that your plant does not look, the appearance of the plant itself looks like a problem. But, our response to this was to say that once the refurbishment has been completed on the water treatment plant, that would be, it would look much better. Our issues of the dosing pumps is in the current scope of the 66 million. The issues of the filters is also in the current scope. The issue of the municipality was dislodging manually, and it takes time. So now also in terms of that, it is in this project that we are going to do in terms of the refurbishment, and the Department of Water and Sanitation is currently the institution that is assisting us as a municipality to get the plant to its optimum.
Yeah. What is your current allocation in terms of budget that you set aside for infrastructure maintenance as a municipality?
Currently, as a municipality, because we are a municipality that is, we are dependent on grants. I must indicate to the community that we are dependent on grants, and everything that we have is based on what the departments would have given us. And we are expected as a municipality, out of everything that we're getting, we must set aside 8% for maintenance. Now, when we came in as well, we have found a challenge where the 8% was not really something that we were setting aside. And now with the budget that we have currently done now, we are setting aside 8% out of the total allocation of some of the grants that we would have received from the departments. And as a municipality, it becomes very difficult for us to set aside 8%, because in terms of revenue collection, we are unable to collect revenue, because we as a municipality only collect about 53%, and recently it dropped to 47%. So it becomes very difficult for this municipality to be able to set aside that 8%.
Yeah. So in essence, then, Mayor, you're saying for the consecutive years, you have been using the money that was supposed to be used to fix this infrastructure for something else. What are you using it for?
No, that is not what I'm saying. When I'm saying that what we are using for the grants that we're using is because they're conditional grants.
Yeah.
We can't use it for something that is not there.
Part of the condition is that you need 8% to maintain the infrastructure. So if you're saying to us you have not been putting aside 8%, it means the 8% was maybe 2 or 3% that you were putting aside. Where was the other money going to?
What I'm indicating to you is that the money was supposed to have been spent, or in particular the water treatment plant, the money was supposed to have been spent on the water treatment plant. Now, the unfortunate part with the Barrace water treatment plant and also Fridaford water treatment plant is that when we came in, we found that monies have been spent where a contractor has been paid upfront in terms of having to do the work. But when you go to the plant itself, in terms of the maintenance and how the plant look, it is not with the money that we have spent in terms of the contractor that we have appointed, then immediately what we have done was to terminate this contractor because it is not assisting, it did not assist the municipality, and it does not, it's also the money for the communities. Now what we have done now recently as well, we went out on a tender process so that we can rectify the past mistakes.
Right. So I understand the question of revenue challenges. Of course, the department, national department says it's grants plus your own revenue collection. When you sell water, you must be able to recover and be able to pay for it. But let's just say we are just talking about the grants. If indeed, as you put it, there was a contractor there that did not give you value for money, it means either one, there was very poor controls in place in how you are monitoring that particular contractor, or there was deliberate overlooking of what needs to be done. And therefore, there needs to be a degree of people being held accountable. If you look at the line of reporting, who should be held accountable for that failure and what has happened to those people? What we have agreed upon with if you can remember, there was the MEC of Moqhaka did arrive in Paris, and he has identified the plant as a crime scene. And one of the issues that has been agreed upon was to say that we need to start opening cases against those that did the shabby work at the water treatment plant. What the Council of Ngwathe Municipality also have done is to agree that we must go for a forensic investigation. And once this forensic investigation would have been completed, this way the municipality will then be able to open criminal charges against those ones that were responsible for the plant. The unfortunate part about this contract is that currently now they are liquidated, and then all officials that were part of this, once the forensic investigation has been completed, will then also have to account for what has happened. Moqhaka Mayor Motloheloa Mokatsane, as well as Ngwathe Local Municipality Mayor Victoria de Beer-Mthombeni, and they are, of course, talking to the water situation in these municipalities in the Free State. Mayor Mokatsane, was there a point in this particular period? You were supposed to have reported March 2023, and of course there were those delays and certain things didn't happen. Now you have fixed that, and of course you're looking back at that technicality and why it wasn't reported. Was there at any point in that process where residents were notified that there could be challenges with water and water may not be safe to drink?
No, like I was saying, the most important thing is for us to know that there is a problem of the quality of water so that we can notify our people. But of all the tests that we have done, the reports came out saying, I do not dispute the report that you might be having, but the report that was forwarded to us by our testing agencies was that the quality of water was good for consumption. But also that was, we emphasized on repeated testing of the quality of water in line with the outbreak of cholera, which is a matter that was of great concern, that our residents must have the kind of water that cannot cause them any kind of diarrhea.
So how come there could be a discrepancy between your reporting and what National is reporting? And at that particular point in time, why take the decision to go with one and not the other?
I did not get your question clearly, Mr. Ndlovu.
I'm saying the report from National in terms of your Blue Water Drop Watch says that the sampled system found that there is, of course, a non-compliance as far as the chemicals are concerned, and as well as the microbiology is concerned. You are saying you conducted your own tests and you found everything was fine. So I'm asking you, at what point do you have these discrepancies? What could be the cause? But also, as the mayor, how do you come to a decision to say, well, I'm going to take this report and I'm not going to take this Blue Drop report?
No. What I was saying is not comparatively speaking. I'm saying the reports that the testing that we did, and the one of Water Lab, which is a institution which is not under our control, came out. The latest report that I have is of the 1st of June.
Okay.
It says the quality of our water is good for human consumption. But in an event whereby, as we are saying, there is this other report which is putting the matter otherwise, then that is a matter that we'll have to look into, and a corrective measure must be taken, and all the right things must unfold so that
So you're saying before the 1st of June, were you not aware of the non-compliance issues?
Sorry?
Before the 1st of June, the report that you're telling me now from your independent lab is showing as from the 1st of June, the water quality is fine. The Department of Water and Sanitation expected you to give corrective measures by March 2023. I'm asking you, because they did the audit before the 1st of June. When they raised non-compliance issues before the 1st of June, did you alert the residents that the water may not be safe to drink?
No, what I'm saying, Mr. Mdluli, is that all the tests that we took came out and say the percentage of correct kind of water that must be given to residents is at a good level.
Yeah, that's the 1st of June. I'm saying, I understand, I accept that. You're saying that's the 1st of June.
I've said the report that is in front of me of Water Lab is of the 1st of June. But there has been other reports that came from the technical department which gave us that the kind of water that we are giving to people is in good standing. That is what I'm saying.
Surely that can't be because you had non-compliance notices. How could you have non-compliance notices and your technical team says the water is good?
The issue of non-compliance, as I'm saying, is the matter that is under correction. We're mainly about this project that I've talked of. So the issue of the quality of water is a matter that was independent of this kind of the project that I'm talking about. But I'm also mentioning, in an event whereby there has been a discrepancy in the line of the kind of communication that was given to us, then that is a matter that will be looked into and all necessary steps will be taken.
Yeah. So talk to me then about what steps are being taken now so that this technicality does not happen again, so that one, proper budgeting is set out to maintain the infrastructure, but two, proper processes are put in place for microbiological testing as well as chemical testing.
Firstly, we have to study the report that are independent of us, except the report of Water Lab. That is number one. Number two, we have to zoom deeper into the report that has got us to be viewed as one of the municipalities that can be taken to court. After having analyzed all of these areas of concern, then we embark on all corrective measures to curb and to see to it in going forward, such does not happen again. But in the meantime, there are some of the projects which are in line in correcting some of the things that has been alluded to in that report. What I can mention three of those. That is in Pomolong, we have a water pipeline that we are busy with to the cost of 7 million. We also have a construction of sewerage pipeline in Caswell Kwekwe and the other water pipeline in 11th Avenue. All of these projects are in line with what we want to see as supplying water to our people and that water being in good condition. But also I have to mention that besides all of these things that I've mentioned, it will be important for us to, from time to time, in as much as we are doing it, we must have now more of independent agencies that will give light to the kind of water that we have, even if those that the agencies are giving us a report which is okay. But we also have now to go deeper into this kind of situation so that we don't have to rely on what is at our disposal only.
Yeah. The other issue, Mayor, that's coming up strongly here is the level at which non-revenue water is sitting, close to 50%. In other words, water that you are losing because of this infrastructure that is either leaking or it's just not being properly monitored. How are you addressing that?
One of the things, Mr. Mthuli, that we have discussed as the institution is that it is proper for us to write to the DWS so that they send, which is a thing that I've done previously, but in my capacity as the mayor, requesting that they send their engineers to come and check our infrastructure, because some of the infrastructure in our municipality is very old. So the engineers must come and investigate and determine as to what can be the last lifespan of this infrastructure that we have. Yeah. Because we have to know that particularly our capital town, Kroonstad, came to be in 1855, you can imagine. And then the two townships that I'm talking of, particularly the Promolon section and the Seisoville, those are the first areas whereby the infrastructure was developed way back then. Yeah. So it will be proper for us to investigate the last lap of their standing so that we can immediately, in as much as we have started with some of changing the old infrastructure, we must have a lasting one which will be overwhelming, covering much of the old townships.
So let me tell you what the minister says, right? The first thing that he's going to look at when you say to him the infrastructure is old, he says he's going to look at where you have been spending most of your budgets in terms of maintenance budget as compared to the old infrastructure. He says he knows this excuse of saying, no, the infrastructure is old. But you will find most municipalities who say the infrastructure is old have not invested a cent in the infrastructure to upgrade the very old infrastructure in years.
That is perfectly understandable, Mr. Mthuli. But as I've indicated earlier, we are requesting from National Treasury some grants for us to deal with these things. And for a long period of time, our municipality is the one which is ranking the highest in terms of the correct expenditure of the MIG. Inclusive to that is that the budget that we put aside for assistance in that area is also being used to see to it that we enhance and develop and refurbish all the old infrastructure that can be detrimental to good service to our people.
And what is your level of borrowing? Because Treasury says that part of what you can do also as far as infrastructure is concerned is you as a municipality, you can actually go and borrow for infrastructure project with the hope, of course, of recouping that via the revenue streams that you've created in the municipality.
One of the things that we have to take note of is that we also are at liberty to request the grants when we have done all that is necessary that needs to be corrected. Before we can embark on the issue of borrowing, we have to exhaust all other avenues of trying to find funding for the projects that will be in assistance to servicing our people. But in an event whereby we may be able to source some grants from National Treasury, it is only then we can venture into an option of borrowing. As of now, we don't have any of the debts that we have that we are paying as an amount that we borrow.
Yeah. Ma'am Mthombeni, on your side, I mean, firstly, the HTH chlorine gas issue, did you warn the residents around that particular issue that you could have been using chemicals that are not safe in the water?
Firstly, on the issue of the chlorine gas and us having to warn the community, we do communicate when there is a crisis in terms of water. And sometimes what we do is that you would find that there would not be water because we can't give people water that is not consumable. So what we then do, sometimes we send out statements from the office of the executive mayor and also our own communications department that will then indicate there is a challenge at our water treatment plant regarding there might be a challenge with the water treatment plant.
So I'm saying, obviously there's a reason why the department doesn't want you to use HTH because of its chemical composition and how it affects the water and those who consume it. Did you warn the residents that there is such a chemical substance in the water?
Okay, but after identifying that, the measures that I've taken, after identifying that there is this challenge of the HTH, what I have done as the executive mayor was then to request that we start to change the chemicals that we're using, and then immediately after that, we changed the type of chemicals that we're using, and we are starting to use the correct chemicals, which then also started to change the quality of water. And if you can, I'm not sure if you know that we were recognized as a municipality that sometimes the water would be dirty or there would be a fishy smell from our waters, and that has recently changed because we have started to change the chemicals. And what we have also done, we have found that when we entered, there was a contract pertaining a panel, they normally call it a panel of contractors that would be brought in to give the municipality chemicals. But immediately after that, the measurements that we have taken was to change and say, let's bring in the correct chemicals for consumption. So in terms of us engaging the communities with that, it was an issue of saying, let's do the correct thing and fix it before it goes out of hand.
Yeah. For your system to achieve excellent condition, it does seem there is a whole lot more that you need to do, including coming up with other ways of raising revenue, because it looks like the MIG is not enough for what you need to do.
Definitely, I must indicate that the grants that we are receiving as currently as this new administration, we are very much appreciative of it in terms of what we need to do, but we still need to go a long way in rectifying some of the mistakes that have happened previously, because most of our water treatment plants, the work that has been done, like I've indicated, is very shabby, where you find when you go to the Frederickford water treatment plant, a plant that was a plant that was working, and then during the refurbishment, a contractor just decided that they are going to, in terms of the PVC pipes that we're using, they would then go downscale what we're supposed to have. So that means that in the coming future, I might have problems in terms of distributing water to our communities. So that's one of the issues that we still need to go and request the Department of Water Affairs to say that let's sit down around the table and see how do we rectify some of those mistakes that have happened. We are appreciative of the 66 million, and we hope that it will really assist us as a municipality to rectify the water treatment plant. And also what we have done is that we have also been given at least about 15 million to fix the old asbestos pipes in Paris, in particular, about 15 kilometers, and which will also be able to address some of the water leakages. But as while fixing that, I still believe that if we continuously engage our communities, those ones that are able to pay their services, they should come forth and pay their services. Those ones that are indigent, we are requesting them to come forward to also register for indigency, so that we can find some ways and streams of income. What we really want to do as a municipality is to fix the water challenges so that we can attract more investors in Paris. If you look into Ngwathe municipality, it's a tourist municipality, and I strongly believe that once we fix the issue of water and electricity in Ngwathe municipality, we'll be able to get some source of revenue from different stakeholders.
Certainly, the Ngwathe municipality is one of the municipalities we visited as Newzroom Afrika last week. We sent in, one of our reporters was there. Large number of those people there telling us that you're telling them to boil water and put bleach in there at this particular point, because you yourself are not quite sure of the safety of the water, which says to me that, Mayor, you're one of those mayors that needs to really focus on the quality, one, but focus on the pace at which you are completing these particular projects, because it's an urgent matter. It's a matter of life and death, it so seems. So what are you doing in terms of picking up the pace? So are you saying to us, where we're sitting now, national and possibly provincial support is key for you? That's what you would want in place?
Okay, firstly, on the issue of the engagements around the community, indicating that we have requested them to boil the water, and also where it is said that we must use bleach and so forth. The issue there is the communications that you get from the World Health Organization in terms of how we can deal measurements in terms of us using clean water and how communities can use clean water. It's basically some of the communications, the awarenesses that we're doing as a municipality. But what I must also indicate that in particular where you were in Frederick, there has been tests that has been run by the Department of Water Affairs, and also especially when it was there was a cry out around this, the diarrhea and so forth. There has been tests that has been conducted, and when these tests were conducted, it has shown that in the different points were taken, because Frederick gets water from our borehole, Spiritford gets water from our water treatment, and also currently they are using JoJo's. So tests were taken, and it was found that there isn't equally. Our water is for human consumption. Our people can actually drink the water. But what we were doing was just a precautionary measure to say that let's work together and try to understand what is happening. And now when there's this outcry about cholera, let's also take corrective measures with the community. So it was basically just to raise awareness, and we'll continue to raise awareness. Correctly so, we still as a municipality request national to come in, and the provincial government to also assist us further. But what I must indicate, there has been support, and we are seeking for more support. What we have also recently established with the Department of Water Affairs and Sanitation from a provincial level, we have agreed that we'll start having war rooms where we will have an hour or 30 minutes where we will discuss the work of the day to see that if there is progress. So we are working with them, and we'll continue working with them.
Mayor Mokatsane, once again, your water in the Moqhaka local municipality, where you sit right now, you can put your head on the block. If the community came with a bottle of water, you will drink that water. That water is safe to drink.
Have I to say something?
Is that the water that's coming from the tap?
Yes. But yeah, let me conclude by saying, indeed, as I indicated earlier, we will take our time, look into all of the areas of concern, particularly peruse all the reports, look into what is it that might have been picked up as not in line with the kind of quality of water that we need, then correct all these things. But also I want to mention that one of the things that actually impacting highly on the issue of us dealing with the quality of water now of late. As I'm not actually saying in the previous test it was not important for us to look into the quality of water, but currently we are having a situation whereby there is this cholera that is ravaging our country. One of the things that I want to mention here is that in Moqhaka we have not experienced even one single case of cholera. One of the things that has been in the papers lately is the people who have passed on at Kroonstad Hospital. Kroonstad Hospital is a regional hospital. Therefore, the neighboring towns will bring their patients there. And then if it happens that some patients who came there for treatment get to experience their demise there. That does not necessarily say, even the report of the provincial health department indicated that there is no cholera of any sort in Moqhaka at the moment. So I just wanted to put that in clarity for all of our people to know we are not experiencing that. But on the issue of the quality of water, Mr. Mhlule, I repeat, it will be proper of us to go look into it, correct all the things, as it is paramount important for us to give our people the kind of service that is unparalleled. Thank you very much.
Much appreciated. Mayors, thank you very much for coming on and taking us through your interventions. The Moqhaka Mayor, Motloheloa Mokatsane, as well as Ngwathe Local Municipality Mayor, Victoria de Beer-Mthombeni, joining us there. All right.